Hello and welcome or welcome back. I'm Bo.
I'm Win.
And we are going through we're going through the emergency fund worksheet and budget priorities because the problem with the emergency fund worksheet is that it's all of your needs. But what do you do when you don't have enough to cover your needs? Win is not expecting a paycheck next week because winter break just happened and he is a substitute teacher. So if he doesn't work, he generally doesn't get paid. And also, some of the utilities are higher than, well, not some of. The utilities are higher than budgeted for. And they're expected to get worse next month. So we gotta reevaluate some things. And also, there's another debt. Yay, ta-da! Chaos in the beginning of the year. Okay, so let's go through it one at a time here. So for the emergency fund worksheet, these are the needs. These are the requirements, right? So we have rent, which is $1,225. Electric bill, the worst it's been was February's bill. That was $245 last year. Heating bill, worst that has been is $382, which was again February of last year.
I'm about to invoke Dad's right to lower the thermostat.
Oh my goodness. We're not freezing in here. And also neighbors.
Oh, yeah.
So, our apartment is a little wonky. We are in a 3-unit apartment building, but it used to be a duplex. So us and the apartment on the other side of the building from us, our next door neighbors, if you will, we share utilities. So, yeah, they do reimburse us for half of the utilities, but that is not a guarantee as to when that's going to happen. So we have to budget for the whole amount so that we don't overdraw the account when the bills due. It does get worse, significantly worse in winter, or at least it did last year. So we need to be prepared for that to happen again. So that's the utilities. And then internet is $66. Chase Credit minimum payment on that is $196. Navy Federal Credit Union credit card minimum payment on that's $137. And then we have 2 collections accounts. Both of those have a payment of $50 a month. Federal student loans are $36, and that is income-based repayment. I'm pretty sure that's less than the interest that's accruing. It's not great. And then personal loan, this, even though it's basically a savings goal, it is a legal requirement. It has a hard due date. It just doesn't have monthly payments per se. So that's flexible, but it absolutely has to be paid on time, on the deadline. And then same for reimbursement for kids. This is their health care. So it could possibly include other things as well. It just depends. This is his portion of kids' bills, basically. And then camp is also a legal requirement. This amount that's saved monthly is flexible, but it has to get paid. He can't just not put them in camp if their mom wants them to be in camp. Back to school, the kids are sent over here without changes of clothes. They bring their book bags, well, when they remember, but they need like pencils and paper and stuff. And of course, new shoes, sets of clothes, because they're constantly growing like weeds. So yeah, back to school has to be saved for. We really don't have much of an option there. And then legal bill, another legal bill came, and
It's not great.
yeah, it's not what we like. It's $3,900, and the savings is not saving. So we are going to be on a payment. We're going to try to get on a payment plan, making that call tomorrow. So that's question mark. So the total for all of this together is somewhere around $3,000, but without knowing how much per month the legal bill is going to be, that's kind of up in the air. But I still wanted to get this down on paper and figure it out because adjustments are going to have to be made, basically, is what's happening. Because there's no paycheck expected next week for him. So, like, we got to figure out what's going to get paid and what's not going to get paid, basically. So, budget priorities. Literally, I just wrote this out, you know. Oh, for the record, this is part of the Money Games book, Debt Freedom for Couples, Money Games, by Heidi Nash. Fantastic little workbook. I love it very much. She's very helpful. But this, I just, wrote this out kind of on the fly. But I mean, it's pretty simple. If there isn't enough money, what gets covered? Three kind of statuses we have here. We have must get covered, maybe gets covered, and no. Just no. So, Wynn, please do the honors. Go through one at a time in order which category it'll be in and why.
Okay. So I do want to address that for the, first of all, thank you. I want to address that for people who look at things differently, this is an excellent way to keep good and careful track of what you're working on and to avoid the kind of chaos that often comes with these things, falling into a panic, jumping back and forth. For me, this is going to be a struggle for me because I don't necessarily look at things one at a time, but part of the whole point of this journey is forcing myself to understand things in a more sequential fashion and keeping track of things carefully, not just whatever feels right. So with that said, I am glad that rent is at the very top because that's an absolute must pay. And the reason that's a must pay is if there's nowhere for us to stay, then this was all for naught in the first place. Like I said, there are a couple other things on here that fall into that category in my head, but we will get to them in due time. Chase credit. I'm loath to skimp on credit card payments, but the downside to paying those late or not paying them on a particular month is that you'll end up owing more. The downside to a must, I think in this case, to qualify for the must, it means that quality of life is diminished significantly. So I'm going to put Chase credit and NCFU credit as maybe, a very uncomfortable maybe. And I am open to feedback on this, but I got to get through it.
I mean, if there literally isn't enough money to go around, then if you end up with a late payment on your credit, it's not going to be great, but you're not going to end up homeless like if you don't pay the rent.
Exactly. Reimbursement for kids. That is part of a legally binding document that holds the children's welfare in mind. That said, that is a must. This represents the kids' insurance money and other necessary medical expenses. So I'm putting that as a must. Internet. I would consider that a utility. There's not an awful. Oh no, we could use phones for hotspots. It's grim, but internet gets maybe. S&M, B&D. These are important loans that need to get paid back, but not if I don't have money to pay them back. It so happens that I have a long-standing payment history with them, and so they would not get. Well, one of them's almost gone, but if I don't have money to pay them back, I don't have money to pay them back. It's such a dangerous attitude. But we're literally talking about not having money.
On the bright side, they don't charge interest, so
They do not.
if you miss a month,
Also,
you're not going to have to pay extra.
I feel like I should clarify the relationship I have with these two loans has been built over time. I've been very communicative with them when my circumstances change for the better or for the worse. My payments for them have gone up and down accordingly and have stayed at a nice $50 a month, which was manageable up to a certain point. And so that works because I put work into that. That's a financial relationship. Federal student loans.
Wait, you skipped heating.
I skipped heating? Good
Yes.
grief. That is a must. What's the point of having shelter if you're going to be freezing?
And also, we share utilities with the neighbor. And,
Oh, yeah. And also cooking.
well, yeah.
So a must for multiple reasons.
Yes.
Federal student loans. That is, the only question is that a maybe or a no? I don't know. I don't know what happens if I don't pay that.
Well,
If I can't pay that, I would call and work out a $0 payment arrangement, which I've done in the past. That works because I'm on a substitute teacher salary, and I would be able to arrange that. I would rather get these paid off, but if we don't have the money, in this case, federal student loans, a couple phone calls, and I can get a forbearance. I can't believe there's any in the no column. These are all so vital.
but I mean, if there isn't enough money, there isn't enough money.
Electric bill, truly vital. Can't even turn on the stove without it. Can't do anything without electricity. Okay, legal bill. Gone a long time without. Made it this far, and I have a good working relationship with my attorney. In this case, they would understand. I'll put that under maybe. Okay, kids camp is complicated only because the big question mark for all this money is, am I working reliably this summer? Now, for reasons that don't bear the play-by-play, the particulars of whether kids camp is required for me to pay has changed several times, but as it stands now, I'm only required to pay for activities that I do on my time. It just would make sense to work with their other parent on that so we can get a better.
No.
That changed
Camp?
again?
Yeah, camp is specifically included.
Oh, good grief. Um, so winter camp was not included this time around, but that was a lack of foresight.
That
Um,
was because she chose not to put them in winter camp, and she's the custodial parent
right.
because they got kicked out
Yes.
last year.
So,
But
ironically,
because she's the custodial parent, if she decides that they're going to be in camp, you're kind of obligated.
I'm going to go back to that document again. But I know you've gone through it as well. So, kids camp. Part of me wants to put maybe, depending on whether or not they get kicked out. Actually, their behavior's gotten a lot better in the last year.
Yeah, but if you don't pay it, then
It's
you'll
a problem.
have to pay more legal bills. Because she's going to take you back to court.
Kids' clothes and furniture. Okay, I'm putting that under maybe. Because the kids get clothes a couple times a year in big shifts. Okay, you can always get furniture off of Facebook Marketplace. Actually, I tend to get them coats and shoes and pants. Their mom gets them just a ton of t-shirts all the time. I think I'm gonna put this under maybe.
Okay.
Personal loan. No way around that one. Legally binding. Has to get saved for. There may be some flexibility around how much gets saved up if I get work this summer, which is a definite maybe and has no place in this realm of tracking and guarantees.
Perfect.
So, personal loan has to happen. Emergency fund. I have a slowly growing relationship with emergency funds. I know about them, but it has not clicked in my head how very important they are. I just have factual knowledge about them. So I think I would need. Oh, the whole point of saving for an emergency fund is in case something goes wrong with the summer. So this feels paradoxical. If we have an emergency fund, then the rest of this isn't an emergency. But if we don't save for it, then there isn't an emergency fund. Okay, I'm going to put must on emergency fund. All right. Vacation. Vacation is, in this case, something that has been handled and I need to pay it back.
Is there a hard deadline on that?
There's not a hard deadline on it. So
because it's me.
Okay.
Do you think I won't understand if you can't pay me back right away? Love you.
I love you too. Wedding is a maybe, really only because of how far away it is and how many opportunities there are to make adjustments on that. And gifts is a hard no.
Correct.
Yep, that was an easy no.
You need to internalize that, because you have a tendency to front people money and stuff, even when you don't have any.
Yeah. It's not what we like.
Captain Save a who?
Ooh, ooh. Oh, that part.
I don't know if you noticed. You might not have. You might not follow us. We've only had a few videos on this channel so far, but this is actually only his side of our budget, and that is because every single thing on my side of the budget is optional. Every single thing. If I don't have enough money one month, I'm just canceling auto pay on everything and not spending any of that money. So
that said, without those optional things, we don't grow. We don't stabilize and we don't grow. So
yes, but most of like my side of the budget is almost entirely savings. So if I like lose my job or if I have a really short paycheck, I'm just not going to save that money. Like that's, I mean, there's groceries, but like that's literally it. Everything else can be paused.
now, just again, a reminder, bringing it back down to the bring it back to you, the viewer. Some parts of this are not going to add up for everyone, but this is what has worked for us. Um, uh, Setting it up this way is partly because on paper, I have to always be accountable for all the things that the boys need. If I'm not paying the things that the boys need, and she is, that's going to look weird. Because whether she is doing it or not, it will look like I'm not doing it.
And let's be real here. There's a reason why this channel is called Wicked Stepmom Budgets. I have no legal responsibility for these children. They are not my children. They are his children and his responsibility. So he needs to cover that.
Yes.
Period, point blank, end of story. I am stability, but he is their dad.
Mm-hmm. That said, how'd I do?
Yeah, just
This is the scariest multiple choice exam of my entire life.
basically, I mean, yeah, it kind of is a multiple choice exam. I mean, there's no really wrong answer other than if the rent doesn't get paid, bad things happen.
Yes.
Like real bad things happen, and
Yes.
we're not playing that game. So in any case, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, or if you think maybe you would have chosen something different for these, let us know.
Get in the comments.
I love you. I appreciate you. I hope you have a great day on purpose. And don't forget, you deserve financial stability.
Yeah.
Bye.